Registration is closed. Registration is closed. We'll go ahead and get the track cleared off. And everybody ready for our parade lap here in just a second. Alrighty, if I can have everybody please stand and face the south end of the arena. Take your ball caps off, and we'll get ready for our national anthem. We'll get our track cleared off here, and then we'll open it up for our balance bike practice. Motos have been posted. Motos are posted. Be sure to check those out at rumriverbmx.com. Any corrections, get them up to registration. We'll take corrections for the next 5 minutes. get our sheets handed out here and get everything ready to start our balance bike racing. We'll get the gate loaded of our 5 and over balance bikers. Got 2 of these riders tonight. Gate drops on our 5 and over balance bikers. We've got 2 of these little guys making it out tonight. We've got Remington Ike out of Isani, Minnesota, and Evelyn Rierson from Pine City. Looks like the 773 of Ike going to take that 1, and Rierson going to take the 2 out of our Moto 1. Moto number 2 in the gate, 4-year-old balance bikers. We have Epperson, Plummy, and Rope. Got these guys coming out of the corner here down the last straight. That looks like the 701 of Rope on that top spot, followed by the 730 of Plummy in that 2, followed up by the 771 of Epperson in that 3 out of our 4-year-old balance bikes. Moto number 3 in the gate, 3-year-old balance bikes. 6 of these little guys out here tonight. We've got Ling, Southbloom, Cloverd, Demirius, Schaefer, and Chromie. These guys coming out of the last corner here. Looks like the 801 of Chromie on that top spot. We're taking 3 of these guys to the main event. So we'll take the 801 of Chromie, the 776 of Southbloom in that second transfer. That last transfer, there's a battle going on. It's going to go to the 630 of Demarius. Our last rack of balance bikers out on the track. Looks like our 2-year-olds. We got 3 of these guys, Hologram, Miska, and Ike. The 215 of Hologram going to take that 1 in this total point race. Looks like the 117 of Ike in that 2, but the 729, oh, 117 is going to take that 2, and the 729 with that 3 out of Moto 4. Second round of balance bikers in the gate right now. Moto 1, 5 and over balance bikers. 2 of these guys battling out tonight, all 3 rounds. Looks like we got the 773 of Ike on that top spot. But Rearenson's putting up that battle in that 2, trying to make a move. Ike's going to take that 1. Reary's going to take that 2 out of Moto 1, 5 and over balance bikers. Gate drops on our 4-year-old balance bikers. We have Epperson, Plummy, and Rope. Total point racing tonight for these guys. Coming out of that 3rd corner. Got a battle for that 1 and 2 spot. Looks like the 701 of Rope taking over that lead, followed up by the 730 of Plummy. So Rope going to take that 1, Plummy going to take that 2, and Epperson going to take that 3, same as round 1. Out of our 4-year-old balance bikers. Moto number 3, or 3-year-old balance bikers. We got 3 of these guys battling for the last gate pick. Looks like the 208 of the level up colors got to be Bo Schaefer on that top spot. He's going to take the 1 this round. The 586 of Ling coming in on that 2. Checking out the crowd on that tabletop. He's going to take that 2, followed up by the 732 of Colvard with that 3 out of Moto number 3. Our last rack, a 2nd round on the track right now. Total points for our 2-year-olds. Holmgren, Miska, and Ike. Looks like the 215 of Holmgren out on that top spot, followed up by the 729 of Miska. Going to mix up some points. So the 215 going to take that 1. The 729 is going to take that 2 this round. And the 117 of Ike going to take the 3. Main event time for our balance bikers. 5 and over balance on the track right now. Ike Reardson. Ike's coming in with a couple of aces. Reardson got total of 4 points coming into this main event. But it's the 773 all day on that top point. He's going to take our 1 and our overall 1, followed up by Reardson with our 2 and our overall 2 and our 5 and over balance bikers. Four-year-old main event out on the track. Epperson, Plummy, Rope. Epperson sitting in our 6 points. Plummy sitting in 4 points. And Rope on 2 points. How they cross is how they're going to finish tonight. So it looks like Rope is going to take the 1 in our overall 1, followed up by Plummy with our 2 and overall 2. And Epperson's going to take that 3 and overall 3 out of Moto 2, our 4-year-old balance bikes. Gate drops on our 3-year-old balance bikes. 6 of these riders making it out tonight. Battle it out for their gate picks. How they cross is how they're going to finish in this main event. Coming down that last straight, we got the 776 of South Bloom in that 1, followed up by the 801 of Chromie in that 2. But Chromie's going to take the 1. South Bloom's going to take the 2, followed up by the 208 of Schaefer in that 3 spot, and the 630 of Demarius in that 4. Onto your podium position for your 3-year-old balance bikers. So that'll go Brixton Chromie with the 1, Lionel Southbloom with the 2, and Bo Schaefer with the 3 out of our 3-year-old balance bikers. Last rack of our balance bikers out on the track right now. Total point racing for these 2-year-olds tonight. We've got Holmgren coming in with 2 points, followed up by Miska and Ike, both tied with 5 points. So how they cross is how they're going to finish tonight. Looks like Holmgren's out on front where he's been all night long. He's going to take that 1 in overall 1 position. The 729 of Miska going to take the 2 in the overall 2, followed up by Ike with that 3 in overall 3 out of our 2-year-old balance bikers. Look at these guys all cleared up. Listen up, riders, for your riders meeting. kicking off racing tonight with moto number 5, or 6 and under mixed open. We've got Cordell, Olson, and Bogman. Total point action for these guys tonight. We've got Cordell out of Cambridge, Minnesota, riding for Crank Lab. Olson out of East Bethel, and Bauman out of Stacy, racing for Fusion. That state plate got to be Cordell out on point, followed up by Fusion colors of Bauman in that 2, Olson in that 3. Coming down that last corner, it's Cordell out front. He's going to take that 1, followed up by Bauman in that 2, and Olson in that 3. Out of our 6 and under mixed open. 7-8 mixed open out on the track. Moto number 6, we've got Elvin out of Isani, Minnesota, followed up by Peterson for BMX Bandits and Ella Cordell for Crank Lab. That's the 2:43 of Elvin out on point, followed up by our Gold Cup 3 of Cordell in that 2. Lars Peterson for BMX Bandits in that 3. Coming down that last straight, it's Elvin out front. He's going to take that 1, followed up by Cordell in that 2. Peterson going to take the 3. Out of moto number 6, 7-8 mixed open. Moto number 7, 9-10 mixed open out on the track. We got 7 of these riders. Carlson, Ray, Barg, Swagger, Garski, Lonsky, and Mackey. Taking 3 of these riders. Looks like it's going to be Gold Cup 2, Garski, Swagger, and Ray going to take those transfers. So no particular order. Annalise Ray, Garski, and Bailey Swagger taking those transfers out of Moto 7. Moto 8, 13-14 open out on the track. We've got Simon, and Bratzel, and Swanson. Bratzel going to take that first transposition, swallowed up by Swanson in that second position, followed up by the Simmons boys. Oh my gosh. Moto number 9 out on the track, 36-40 women cruiser. We've got Farley, Bleesey, Lee. That's got to be the National 99. Kim Possible Farley out on point, followed up by Black Sheep of Bleesey. Bet Rim of Chelsea Lee in that 3. So Farley's going to take the 1. Bleesey with that 2. Lee with the 3 out of Moto 9, our 36-40 women cruiser. Moto 10 out on the track, 56 and over. We've got Martin, Anderson, Miller, and Anderson. Looks like the 724 of Miller out on that top spot. Followed up by one of the Andersons. I'm not quite sure which one. We'll see once you get around. I see that plate. Looks like it's got to be Shirley Anderson in that second spot. So Miller is going to take the first transfer. Shirley Anderson's going to take that second transfer. Out of Moto 10. Moto 11 out on the track, 9 cruiser. We've got Mullinson, Kozitsa, Ray, Bogman, Peterson, and Escalona. That is BMX Bandits colors out on point. Got to be Peterson, followed up by Level Up of Ray in that 2 spot, and the 3 bike of Kozitsa in that 3. So it's going to go Peterson with that transfer, Ray with the transfer, and Kozitsa with that transfer out of Moto 11, 9 cruiser. Moto 12, 11 cruiser out on the track. We've got Hoff, Falkowski, Byington, Michaels. That's got to be Marshall Falkowski out on point, followed up by Tate Hoff in that 2. So Falkowski going to take that transfer. Hoff going to take the second transfer out of Moto 12, R11 cruiser. Moto 13, 36-40 cruiser. We've got Miller, McAllister, Norberg, Simon. That is Black Sheep of Jack Miller out on point, followed up by Dynasty Colors. Got to be Chris Simon in that 2. Taking 2 of these riders straight on to the main. That'll be Miller and Simon out of Moto 13. Moto 14 are 5 and under novice out on the track. 7 of these guys making it out tonight. We've got Trejo, Mo, Colvard, Prince, Escalona, Rope, and McGraw. Looks like, Level Up Colors. That's got to be Escalona in that top spot, followed up by the 884 of Trejo in that 2. Not too sure who's in that third spot. Taking 3 of these riders straight on to the main event tonight. So we've got Level Up, Camila Escalona. She's going to take that first transfer spot. 884 of Trejo going to take that second transfer. And the 118 of Mo taking that third transfer out of our 5 and under novice. Moto 15 out on the track, 6 novice. We've got Olson, Rigrin, Beard, and McGowan. Oh, looks like the 191 of Riglin out in that top spot. I didn't see who was on that. Oh, that's got to be Caleb Olson in that second spot, followed up by McGowan in that 3. As they come down that last straightaway, taking 2 of these riders straight onto the main event. So that's Wigrin is going to take that first transfer, followed up by Olson with that second transfer out of our 6-year-old novice. 8-year-old novice, Moto 16 out on the track. We've got Shuey, Lero, Hollis, Carlson. Shuey out on point. Followed up by, that's got to be Jared Hollis in that 2 spot. Taking 2 of these riders straight on to the main event. So the 478 of Shuey and the 221 of Hollis moving on to the main event. 9 novice out on the track. We've got Pat Node, Lonsky, and Hollis. The 544 of Lonsky in that 1. Pat Node in that 2. And the 109 of Hollis in that 3. Total points for these guys tonight. We'll be racing all 3 rounds. But we've got Lonsky racing for Mamio and Daddy-O in that 1. Pat Node for Dingman's going to take that 2. And Hollis going to take that 3 out of Moto 17. Moto 18 out on the track, 10 novice. Another total point racing. We've got Lero, Carlson, and Gerhardson, sorry. Let's see, as soon as I can see these number plates here. Looks like Carlson's going to take the 1, followed up by the 181 of Lero in that 2. And Gerhardson with that 3 out of our 10-year-old novice. Moto 19, 12 novice out on the track. We got Schaefer, Moss, Hazelton, Bocher, and Moss. We got the 397 of Xander Moss out on that top point, followed up with a couldn't quite make it stick. So Schaefer's going to hold on to that 2 spot. He's going to take that second transfer. So we got Xander Moss with that first transfer and Trapper Schaefer with that second transfer out of Moto 19. Moto 20, 13 novice, Lonsky, Olson, Jessen, Bocher. That's got to be Jessen, bent rim out on front. I don't know who's in second. I'm assuming it's an Olson. Let's see. So Jessen going to take that first transfer. We got room for 1 more, and that's going to be the 530 of Zach Olson with that 2 out of Moto 20. Moto 21, 26 to 35 novice. We've got Miska, Lee, and Bleesy. Looks like the 757 of Miska out on that top point, followed up by Emily Bleesy in the 2. Chelsea Lee with that 3. As they come down that last straightaway, Miska with a nice lead, going to take that 1. Black Sheep, Bleesy going to take that 2. And Chelsea Lee going to take the 3 out of Moto 21. Moto 22, 46 to 50 novice. We've got Grote, Smith, and Zamar. Looks like Phenom's got to be Josh Schmidt out on point. Followed up by Fast Gramps in that 2 spot. And Grote in that 3. Out of Moto 22. Moto 23 out on the track are 6 intermediates. We're about halfway through first round, so second round, you guys should be heading back to staging. Second round, you guys want to head back to staging. We've got the State 5 Cordell out on that top spot, followed up by Fusion. Gotta be Bauman, the Queen Bee, in that 2, taking 2 of these riders straight onto the main event. Lana Ming's trying to make a move, but can't quite do it, so it's going to be Cordell and Bauman with the 2 transfers out of Moto 23. Moto 24, 7 inners out on point. We got Moss, Ford, Altenwig, Peterson, McGowan, Berman. We got Dingman colors out on point. That's got to be Altenwig in that top spot, followed up by BMX Bandits. Peterson taking 3 of these riders. So it's going to be Ottenwig, Peterson, and the 313 of Moss with our transfers out of Moto 24. Moto 25 out on the track, 8 intermediates, Cordell, Acapina, Breheim, Elvin, Beard. That's the Gold Cup 3 of Cordell out on point. Followed up. Who's in that? Let's see. So Cordell's going to take that 1, the 243. Elvin going to take the 2. And Kate Breheim going to take the 3. So the 2 transfers, Cordell and Elvin taking the 2 transfers out of Moto 25. Moto 26, 10 inners. We've got Bard, Brock, Ray, Mackey, and Ford out on top. Level up. Ray out on point. She's going to take that first transfer. Second transfer is going to go to our State 5 of Silas Barg out of our 10 intermediate. 15 intermediate out on the track. We've got Henry Geach. Ooh. Bartonling, Schmidt, Pittman, and Elin. Looks like Kendall Elin out on point, followed up by Pittman in that 2. We're taking 3 riders, so it'll be Elin, Pittman, and the 45 of Geach with our 3 transfers out of our 15 inner. Moto 28 out on the track, 36 to 40 intermediate. McGraw, Bleasy, Farley, and Beard. Looks like Mark Beard out on point. Taking 2 of these riders straight to the main event. So we're going to take Mark and the 133 of Bleasy. Getting those transfers. Moto 29. Welcome to the Girls Club. 7 girl out on the track. We've got Mo, Kazitsa, Farley, Lakeberg, Means. We've got our Nag 10 of Lakeberg out on point, followed up by KC Ray Mings in that 2. Fusion colors of Farley in that 3. Taking 2 of these riders straight on the mains. It's going to be Lakeberg and Mings with those transfers. Moto 30 out on the track, 13 girls. We've got Garski, McCulley, Lanigan, Swagger. Out on point, that's Ameriprise full tilt. Got to be Little Red McCulley, followed up by the Gold Cup 2 of Garski. We've got Level Up of Lanigan in that 3 spot, taking 2 of these riders straight onto the main event. It's Ameriprise full tilt out on point. McCulley going to take that first transfer. Garski going to take that second transfer out of Moto 30. Moto 31, 6 expert out on the track. We've got McGraw, Simon, and Mellinson. Looks like the State 9 of McGraw out on point, followed up by Mellinson in that 2. Simon in that 3. They come out that last corner. Mellinson trying to make a move, and he gets it. He's going to take over that top spot. So Mellinson going to take the 1, McGraw with the 2. Simon with the 3 out of Moto 31, 6X. Second round, you guys should be back in staging. Second round, back in staging. Moto 32. Okay. Moto 32 on the track, we've got Ray, Simon, Bauman, Kozitsa, and Brutzman. Looks like Brutzman, Kozitsa taking those transfers out of Moto 32, 9X. Second rack of 9X out on the track, 33. We've got Stopka, Escalona, McGraw, Farley, Peterson. Looks like Peterson out on point. Oh, Ray making a move. Ray taking over that top spot, followed up by Peterson. We've got Breakdance Stopka in that 3, not going to quite make it, so we're going to take Peterson and Escalona. I thought it was Ray. All right, so Escalona and Peterson taking the transfers out of Moto 33. Moto 34 out on the track, 11X. Looks like Marshall Falkowski and Tate Hoff taking those 2 transfers out of our 11 expert. Moto 35, 13X out on the track. We got Patnode, Telke, and Swanson. That's got to be Dynasty. Preston Swanson out on point, followed up by Patnode in that 2. Dillybar in that 3. They coming down that last straight, so Swanson's going to take that 1. Patnode with the 2. Dillybar with that 3 out of Moto 35. Moto 36, 15 expert. We've got Cam Nato, Ford, Lockinen, and Schaefer. Oh no. Looks like Tad Schaefer's getting a little squirrely, but he's all right. He's back on his feet. Let's give him a hand. Coming in hot around those corners. So it looks like, I think Cam Ford took that 1, Lockinen with that 2, Schaefer with the 3 out of our 15X. Last rack out on the track, 36 to 40 expert. We got Mo, Pittman, McAllister, Brotzel. That's the Rock 1 and Mo out on point. We're taking 2 of these guys. So Mo will take that first transfer, followed up by Fusion. That's the Papa Smurf with that second transfer. All right, that'll do it for our first round. We're going to roll right into second round here as soon as we get those gate loaded up. Kicking off round 2 with our 6 and under mixed open. We've got Cordell, Olson, and Bogman. These guys are going to be battling out all 3 rounds, seeing who gets the lowest points. State 5, Cordell out on point. Bogman's going to give him a run for his money, see if she can make a move. Got the 506 of Olson in that 3 spot. Coming out of that last corner, it's still Cordell out on point. Clara giving her all she got, but she's going to stay in that second. Olson going to keep that 3 out of our 6 and under mixed open. 7-8 mixed open out on the track, another total points. Elvin Peterson, Cordell. It's got to be Ella Cordell out on point this round, followed up by No Boo Elvin in that 2, Lars Peterson in that 3. So Ella's going to take the 1 this round. Elvin with the 2, Peterson with that 3 out of our 7-8 mixed open. 9-10 mixed open out on the track. We should have Carlson, Barg, Lonsky, and Mackey. That looks like, oh, that's Mackey in that 1, State 5, Barg in that 2. Carlson going to take the 3 out of our 9-10 mixed open. Moto 8 out on the track, 13-14 open. We've got all the Simon boys out on the track. Oh, my favorite Simon out on point. Jamie going to take the 1 this round, followed up. Let's see. Wesson going to take that 2. Is that right? Yeah, Wesson's going to take that 2. And Chris going to take the 3 out of that Simon race for our 13-14 open. 36-40 women cruiser out on point. We've got Farley, Bleesey, Lee, our national 99. Rider Farley riding for Factory Carbone, going to take that 1, followed up by Black Sheep Emily Bleesey in that 2, and Chelsea Lee riding for Bent Rim, and her nephew Phoenix Stopka going to take that 3 out of Moto 9. Moto 10 out on the track, our 56 and over women cruiser. We've got Martin and Anderson out on there. Looks like Cheryl Anderson in that top spot out of Duluth, Minnesota, followed up by Michelle Martin out of Duluth, Minnesota in that 2 spot. Coming down that last straightaway, that's how they're going to finish. Anderson with the 1, Martin with that 2 out of Moto 10. Moto 11, 9 cruiser out on the track. We've got Mellinson, Bobman, and Escalona. Not true. Looks like that's got to be Easton Bobman in that 1. Escalona going to take the 2. Mellinson going to take the 3 out of our 9-year-old cruiser. 11 cruiser out on the track. We've got Michaels and Byington. Looks like Wyatt Michaels in that top spot, followed up by Bent Rim. Byington in that 2. Coming down the last straightaway, that's how it'll finish. Michaels with the 1, Byington with the 2. Out of Moto 12. Moto 13, 36-40 cruiser out on track. We've got McAllister and Norberg. The 39 Norberg for Fusion Racing out on point, followed up by Doug McAllister for Bent Rim in that 2 spot. Coming out of that last corner, that's how these guys are going to finish. Norberg with that 1, McAllister with the 2 out of Moto 13. Moto 14 out on the track. Our 5 and under novices, we've got Colvard, Prince, Rope, and McGraw. 4 of these guys battling out for the last 4 gate picks in their main event. Coming down that second straightaway, it's the 699 bike of Rope going to in that 1, followed up by the 740 of Prince in the 2. We got Adeline McGraw checking out the scenery in that 3 spot, followed up by Colvard in that 4. But Rope is out front with a nice breakaway. He's going to take that first spot. The 740 Prince going to take that 2. McGraw going to get the 3. And Culver going to finish up with that 4 out of our 5 and under novice. Moto 15, 6 novice out on the track. We got 2 of these guys battling for the last gate picks. Looks like McGowan for Bent Rim Racing out on point, followed up by Not Stop and Beard for Black Sheep in that 2. McGowan with a nice lead coming down that last straightaway. He's going to take that first. Beard going to take that 2 out of Moto 15 or 6 novice. Moto 16 out on the track, 8 novice. We've got Lero and Carlson, the 506 of Carlson out on point, followed up by Lero in that 2. Battling it out for the last gate picks there, but Brooklyn Carlson's got a nice lead. Coming down that last straightaway, she's going to get that 1, followed up by Lero with the 2 out of Moto 16, 8 novice. Moto 17, 9 novice, we've got Patno, Lonsky, and Hollis. Total point racing for all these guys out there tonight. Looks like we've got Liam Lonsky out on point, followed up by Dingman Colors. That's got to be Patnode in that 2. Hollis in that 3. Coming down that last straightaway, it's going to go Lonsky, Patnode, and Hollis out of our 9 novice. Moto 18, 10 novice. We're looking for Lero, Carlson, and Garrettson. That's got to be Parker Carlson, the 505 bike, out on point coming down that last straightaway, followed up by Lero, racing for his parents in that 2nd spot, followed up by our Crank Lab Colors of Garrettson in that 3 out of Moto 18. Moto 19 out on the track, 12 novice. We should have Moss, Hazelton, and Bocher. That's got to be Moss Colors out on front. Zeke Lightning. He's going to take that 1 spot. Followed up by, let's see who this is. The 79 of Hazelton going to take the 2, and Bocher with that 3 out of Moto 19. Moto 20, 13 novice. We've got Lonsky and Bocher out there battling for the last gate picks. Looking like Jet Bocher out on point, going to take that 1 this round. Lonsky going to take the 2 out of our 13-year-old novice. 26 to 35-year-old novice out on the track, Moto 21. Total point racing with Miska from Forest Lake Lee out of St. Francis, and Bleesey coming from North Branch, racing for Black Sheep BMX. Out on point, got to be Hunter Miska, going to take that 1 spot, followed up by Emily Bleesey in that 2. Chelsea Lee going to take that 3 spot of our 26 to 35 novice group. Moto 22, 46 to 50 novice. We've got Grote, Schmidt, and Zamor. That is Phenom Colors. Schmidt out on point, followed up by Fast Gramps in that 2 spot. And the Copper Cowboy in that 3, finishing how they were in round 1. Moto 23, 6 inners. We are looking for Peterson, Magnuson, and Mings. Bent Rim Colors, State 9, got to be Lana Bug Mings out on point, followed up by the 225 of Moggensen in that 2. Emmy Peterson for BMX Bandits in that 3 spot. Coming out of that last corner, Lana Mings with a nice breakaway. She's going to take that first transfer. Followed up by Morganson with the 2. Peterson going to follow up with that 3. Out of our 6 intermediate. 7 intermediate, Moto 24 out on the track. We're looking for Ford, McGowan, and Bergman. That's got to be McGowan, Bent Rim out on point. He's going to finish with the 170 of Ford in that 2 for Fusion Racing. And Bergman for FXR Dance Comp going to take that 3 out of our 7 intermediate. 8 intermediate out on the track. We got 3 of these guys battling for the last gate picks. Deanman colors got to be Acapina, Mr. E out on point. Followed up by the Fireball Breheim. Trying her hardest to make a move, and she does. Kate going to finish with that 1. Acapina with the 2. And Beard in the 3 out of our 8 intermediates. Moto 26, 10 intermediates out on the track. We should have Brock, Mackey, and Ford. We've got Fusion Colors sitting 1 and 2. That's got to be Mackey in that 1, Ford with the 2, Brock in that 3 out of our 10-year-old intermediates. 15 intermediate out on the track. We've got Henry, Barrington, and Smith battling it out for our last gate picks. That is Dynasty Colors of Henry. She's going to take that first transfer. We've got the 71 of Schmidt in the 2, and Barrington going to take that 3 out of our 15-year-old intermediate. Moto 28 out on the track, 36 to 40 inners. We've got McGraw and Farley battling it out for our gate picks here. Dynasty Colors got to be Nick McGraw from Zimmerman out on point. He's going to take that 1. And our national age group, 11 of Farley, going to take that 2 out of our 36-40 inners. Moto 29, 7 girl out on track. Fusion Colors got to be Farley out on point, followed up by the State 3 of Bubbly Mo in that 2. Sadie Korzitza in that 3rd spot. Coming out of that last corner, it's going to be Amelia Farley taking that 1. Bella Mo with the 2. Korzitza with that 3 out of our 7 girl. 13 girl out on the track. We've got Lanigan and Swagger. Level Up Colors out on point. Got to be Avery Lanigan coming down that last straightaway, followed up by Bent Rim of Swagger. Bailey almost lost it there, but she saved it. So Lanigan's going to take that 1. Swagger with the 2 out of our 13 girl. Moto 31, 6X out on the track. We've got McGraw, Simon, and Mellinson. Total points for all these riders tonight. Dynasty Colors got to be Easton McGraw out on point, followed up by Mellinson in that 2. Coming down that last straightaway. Nice battle. See if they can do it. Mellinson's going to take over that top spot. He's going to get the 1. Easton going to take the 2, followed up by Simon with that 3 out of 6X. 9X out on the track. Moto 32, we have Ray, Simon, and Bogman. That's got to be Bogman out on point for Fusion Racing, even though he's not in his jersey. Ray going to take that 2. Simon going to take the 3 out of 9X. Second rack of 9X out on the track. Let's see, we're looking for Stopka, Farley, and McGraw. We got the shiny helmet of Breakdance Stopka. He's going to take that first transfer position, and Bubba Farley with that second transfer out of Moto 33, 9X. Moto 34, 13X out on track. We got 2 of these riders battling for the last gate picks. Sorensen, Michaels. It's got to be Wyatt Michaels out on point for out of Andover, Minnesota. He's going to get that 1 this round. Dynasty, Sorensen going to take that 2 out of our 11X. 13X out on the track. Total point, Patno, Dillybar, and Swanson. We've got Preston Swanson out on point. Dynasty BMX out of Cedar, Minnesota. Followed up with a nice battle with our Dingman and Black Sheep riders. Let's see who's going to be taking it out. Dillybar can make a move, but it looks like Patno's going to hold on to that 2. Dillybar is going to keep that 3 out of our 13X. 15X out on the track. We've got Ford, Lockinen, and Schaefer. It's got to be Cam Nato out on point, followed up by Ben Lockinen for Crank Lab out of Blaine, Minnesota in that second spot. Tad Schaefer for Dingman's in that 3. Nice to see him back after his little spill out there in round 1. Of our 15X last rack for round 2. 36 to 40 experts out on the track. We've got Pittman and McAllister. Looks like BMX Bandits, Chris Pittman out on point, followed up by Doug McAllister in that 2. Bent Rim Racing coming down that last straight. That's how they're going to finish. Pittman, McAllister for our 36, 40-year-old expert. All right, so we'll do a little math, get some paperwork. I think we have a move up to do, a couple giveaways. We'll open up the track for our expert riders. All right, if I call your name, head on down to the finish line. I've got some giveaways. We've got a hot dog going out to Liam Lonsky. A free slushie for Lars Peterson. And an ice cream treat for Noah Elvin. So we need Lars Peterson, Noah Elvin. And who was the last one? Oh, Liam Lonsky. Also, we got a move up tonight. Ivan Acapina, if you could head on down here, and Mason McGowan, you guys head on down to the finish line. You guys can get your move-ups. All righty, I got 2 guys moving up to intermediate, getting their 10 wins, moving up. We've got Ivan Acapina racing for Dingman's over here. And we also got Mason McGowan getting his 10 wins, moving on up to intermediate, racing for Bent Rim. These guys have worked hard and battled out. Get on up here, buddy. Get on up here. All right. So go ahead. So you want to hold them up high so we can see all your sponsors. We'll look at Sam. All right. And then you can look at your favorite parent if you want. All right. And then we've got our camera right up there. All right, make sure to wave at everybody watching at home. Give these guys a nice round of applause. Congratulations, guys, on your hard work. Good job. We will need 3 ticket crew volunteers so we can get our main event started. So we're looking for 3 volunteers for our ticket crew. Looking for 2 more volunteers for our ticket crew. 2 more volunteers so we can get this main event started. Still looking for 2 more volunteers. You can volunteer willingly or we will volunteer you to come help us. Like to get this party rolling before it gets too late. All right, we need 1 more volunteer. Looking for 1 more volunteer. Oh, hey, look at you guys. No one wants to be told to do it. All right, we got all of our volunteers. So we're going to get this rolling. Head on over to the chutes and get staged up for main events. Let's get staged up for main events. Oh, he's getting his bike. He's getting his bike fixed. Tuesday night racing up on the hill. 36 motos on a Tuesday night for single point actions. 6 and under mixed open in the gate. We've got Cordell, Olson, Bogman. These riders have battled it out all 3 rounds tonight. We've got Cordell coming in on 2 points, Olson on 6 points, Bogman on 4 points. Looks like the Queen Bee for Fusion Racing out on point, followed up by Cordell for Crank Lab Racing in that 2 spot. Olson in that 3 out of East Bethel. 1 and 2 battling it out as they come down that last straightaway. Fusion out on point. Cordell trying his hardest to try to get in. Clara Bauman's going to take that 1, but the overall 2. Cordell's going to take the 2, but the overall 1. And Olson's going to take the 3. Out of Moto 5 are 6 and under mixed open. Moto 6 out on the track, 7-8 mixed open. Another total point race. We've got Elvin sitting on 3 points. Peterson sitting on 6. Cordell sitting on 3 points. Gold Cup 3 of Cordell going to finish with that 1 in the overall 1. Elvin with the 2 in the overall 2. And Peterson going to take that 3. Out of Moto 6, 7-8 mixed open. Moto 7, 9-10 mixed open out on the track. We've got Garski, Swaggart, Ray, Mackey, Barr, Carlson, and Lonke. Gold Cup 2 got to be Crank Lab, Garski out on point, followed up by the 58 of Bent Rim. Swaggart in that 2. Annalise Ray for Level Up in that 3. They come down that last straightaway. It's going to go Garski with the 1, Swaggart with the 2, Ray with that 3. Out of our 9-10 mixed open. 13-14 mixed open out on the track. We've got Bratzel, Swanson, Simon, and Simon. That's got to be Papa Smurf for Fusion Racing out on point, followed up by Dynasty, Preston Swanson in that 2. My favorite Simon in that 3, Jamie, going to finish out our podium out of our 13-14 mixed open. Moto number 9 out on the track, 36-40 women cruiser. Farley, Bleesey, Lee. Our National 99 Farley out on point. She's got a couple of aces in her pocket. She's going to finish out the night with that 1. Bleesey in that 2 spot. She's going to finish out on the 2. Lee going to take that 3 out of our 36-40 women cruiser class. 56 and over women cruiser out on point. We've got Black Sheep, Kim Miller, followed up by the 7 bike of Shirley Anderson in that 2. And we've got Cheryl and Michelle battling it out for that 3 and 4. Looks like Martin's in that 3 spot coming out of that last corner. But it's Black Sheep Racing out on point all day. Going to be Kim with that 1. Cheryl Anderson with the 2. Martin with that 3. And Cheryl going to take that 4 out of our 56 and over women cruiser. 9 cruiser out on the track. We've got Peterson, Escalona, Kozitsa, Bauman, Ray, and Mellinson. BMX Bandits, Peterson going to take that 1. Looks like Escalona going to take the 2, followed up by Kozitsa. For Fusion Racing with the 3 on our 9 cruiser. 11 cruiser, Moto 12, we've got Felkowski, Hoff, Michaels, and Byington. Ameriprise Full Tilt out on point, got to be Felkowski, followed up by Black Widow of Hoff in that 2. Coming down that last straightaway, looks like Bent Rim, got to be the Convict Byington in that 3, and that's how they'll finish. Felkowski, Hoff, Byington. Out of our 11 cruiser, Moto 12. Moto 13 out on the track, 36-40 cruiser. We've got Miller, Simon, Norberg, McAllister. Got to be Black Sheep, Jack Miller out on point, followed up by Ridgeline Simon in that 2. Bent Rim Colors in that 3, got to be McAllister. So it'll go Miller, Simon, McAllister, 1, 2, 3 out of our 36 to 40-year-old cruiser. Moto 14 out on the track, our 5 and under novices. Oh, losing a couple in that first straight there. One of them getting squeaking by. Give Adeline a hand there, avoiding that crash. Our downrider up. Let's give him a hand. Looks like we got the 46 Escalona out on point, followed by the 884 Trejo in that 2, and the 118 of Mo in that 3 spot coming down that third straightaway. Nice single file line coming down that last straightaway. Level up colors out on point. Going to take that 1 spot. Escalona followed up by Trejo for Dynasty in that 2, and Mo in that 3 spot for our 5 and under novice. Moto 15-6 novice out on the track. We've got Wergen, Olson, McGowan, and Beard. Nice battle for that 1-2 spot coming out of that first corner. That's got to be Wergen out of Isani in that top spot, followed up by Olson. Oh my gosh, almost went down, but he saved it. Oh. All right, we've got Wergen coming down that last straightaway. He's going to take that 1 in our 6-year-old novice. McGowan going to take that 2 for Bent Rim Racing. And Not Stopping Beard going to finish out our podium in our 6-year-old novice class. Downrider getting checked out over in the corner here. Moto 16 out on the track, our 8-year-old novice. We've got Schutte, Hollis, Carlson, and Lero. That's got to be Peyton Schutte out on point from St. Francis, Minnesota. He's going to take that 1. J-Rod Hollis going to take the 2. And Brooklyn Carlson with that 3 out of our 8-year-old novice class. Our downrider is back up out of our 6-year-old novice class. Let's give Caleb Olson a hand here. Not how he wanted to end his Tuesday night, that's for sure. Nice hand from the crowd. All right, back to the gate. We got our 9 novice, Moto 17. Looking for Pat Nodlonsky and Hollis. That's got to be Liam Lonsky riding for Mommy-O and Daddy-O out on point. He's got 2 points coming into this main event, followed up by Pat Nord for Dingman BMX Shop in that 2 spot. And Hollis in that 3 out of Isani, Minnesota for our 9-year-old novice. And it's going to go Liam with that 1. Pat Node with the 2. Hollis going to take the 3 out of Moto 17. Moto 18 out on the track, 10 novice. We're looking for Lero, Carlson, and Gerhardson. 505 of Carlson out on point. He's got 2 aces in his pocket as he comes into that third corner. Followed up by Lero racing for his parents in that 2 spot. It's going to go Carlson with the 1, Lero with the 2, Gerhardson with the 3 out of our 10 novice. 12 novice out on the track, Moto 19. We've got Moss, Schaefer, Moss, Hazelton, and Bocher. That's got to be Xander, Bolt, Moss out on point, followed up by Schaefer, level up in that 2 spot. And Zeke Lightning in that 3 spot as they come down that last straightaway. It's going to go Bolt, Moss with the 1, Schaefer with the 2, Zeke Lightning with that 3 out of our 12 novice. Moto 20 out on the track, 13 novice. We've got Jessen, Olson, Bochert, Lonsky. Bent rim colors got to be Lilith Jessen out on point. Followed up by Zach Olson out of St. Francis, Minnesota in that 2. Got to be Bochert in that 3. So it's going to go Jessen, Olson, and Bochert for our 13-year-old novice. 26 to 35, novice out on the track. Moto 21, another total point race here. We've got Miska, Lee, Bleesey. Hunter Miska out on point where he's been all day out of Forest Lake, Minnesota. He's going to finish out today with a 1, followed up by Emily Bleesey out of North Branch. She's going to take that 2. Chelsea Lee with that 3 out of our 26 or 26 to 35 novice. Moto 22 out on the track, 46 to 50 novice. We've got Groach, Schmidt, and Zamar. Phenom Colors out on point. That's got to be Joshua Schmidt. He's going to finish out the day with that 1. Fast Graham Zamar going to finish out with the 2. And the Copper Cowboy taking that 3 out of Moto 22. Moto 23, 6 intermediate. We've got Cordell, Bogman, Means, Mogson, and Peterson. I'm assuming that's got to be our little Harrison. Yep, Harrison Cordell. He's out in that top spot racing for Crank Lab. Followed up by our Queen Bee Bogman for Fusion in that 2. So Cordell going to take that 1. Bogman with the 2. Lana Mings with that 3 out of our 6 intermediate. Seven intermediates coming out of the gate. Moto 24. We're looking for Altenwig, Berman, Moss, Peterson, Ford, and McGowan. Coming down that second straightaway, it's Dingman Colors. That's got to be Altenwig, where he's been all day in that top spot, followed up by the 50 of Lars Peterson in that 2, followed up by Electro Enzo in that 3. Looks like we got Bent Rim trying to make a color, but it's going to go Ottenwig with that 1, Lars with the 2, Moss with that 3 out of our 7 intermediate. Moto 25 out on the track, 8 intermediates. We're looking for Cordell, Elvin, Breheim, Acapina, and Beard. We got Mr. E. Acapina getting his move up today in intermediates during intermission. That was nice to see. We got Elvin out on point, followed up by Cordell in that 2 spot. Dingman Colors, that's got to be the Mr. E in that 3s. They come down that last straightaway. We've got Cordell trying to make a run for it. I'm going to have to go to the line for 1 and 2. Mr. E's going to take that 3. All right, so Ella Cordell, she's going to take that 1. Elvin's going to take the 2, and Acapina's going to take the 3 in our 8 intermediate. Moto 26, 10 intermediate, we've got Ray, Barg, Mackey, Ford, and Brock. That's Level Up Colors. On point, got to be Annalise Ray out of Andover, Minnesota. She's going to take that 1. State 5 of Barg going to take the 2. And Berger Mackey going to take that 3 out of our 10 intermediate. Moto 27 out on the track, 15 intermediate. We've got Elin, Pittman, Geach, Henry, Schmidt, and Bertling. We got a nice battle. Let's see, that's going to be Pittman with the 1, Geach with the 2, and Chaotic Elin with the 3. Yes, out of our 15 intermediate. Moto 28 out on the track, 36 to 40 intermediate. We've got Marky Mark, Beard, Bleesey, McGraw, and Farley. Marky Mark got to be out on point with those black sheep colors. Followed up by Brandon Bleesey, teammate in that 2. Nick McGraw in that 3 for Dynasty BMX out of Zimmerman, Minnesota. Marky Mark going to take that 1. Bleesey, 2. McGraw with that 3 out of our 36-40 intermediate. All right, we've got our girls club out on the track. 7 girl, Moto 29, Lakeberg, Mings, Farley, Mo, Kozitsa. Out on points, our national age group number 10, that's got to be Lakeberg, followed up by the 16 of Farley. Fusion Racing in that 2. Looks like Bubbly Mo in that 3. Mings trying to make a move in that corner, see if she can do anything. But it is Lakeberg out on point all day. She's going to take that 1. Farley going to take the 2. Mings with that 3. out of Moto 29. Moto 30, out on the track, 13 girl. We've got Little Red McCulley, Garski, Lanigan, and Swagger. Mayor Prize full tilt, got to be Little Red, going to take that 1. Gold Cup 2, Garski with that 2. Level up of Lanigan with the 3 out of our 13-year-old girl. Moto 31, 6X out on the track. We've got McGraw, Simon, and Mellinson. That's got to be, let's see, Pack BMX of Mellinson out on point, followed up by Easton McGraw in that 2. Simon in that 3. Where they have been all day long, coming down that last straight. Mellinson's going to take that 1, overall 1. Easton's going to take the 2 and the overall 2. Simon with that 3, and overall 3 out of our 6X. 9 experts out on the track, Moto 32. We're looking for Brutzman, Escalona, Kozitsa, Peterson, Bogman, Stopka, Ray, and Farley. Mayor Prize full tilt out on point, got to be the Savage. Brutzman's followed up by BMX Bandits, got to be Peterson in that 2 spot. So to go Brutzman, Peterson, Escalona, 1, 2, 3 out of our 9-year-old expert, Moto 32. Moto 33 out on the track, 11X. We've got Monster, Marshall Falkowski, Tate, the T-Train Hoff, Wyatt Michaels, and Carson Sorensen. Ameriprise full tilt out on point, got to be the Monster Falkowski, going to be in that 1, has come down that last position. He's going to take the 1. T-Train Hop going to take that 2 for Black Widow BMX, followed up by the 36 of Michaels in that 3 out of 11X. Moto 34, 13 expert. We're looking for Pat Node, Telke, and Swanson. Dynasty Colors out point. That's got to be Preston Swanson. Followed up by Dingman, Pat Node in that 2. So Swanson's going to take the 1, overall 1. Pat Node the 2, the overall 2. And Dillybar going to take that 3 and overall 3 out of our 13X. 15X out on the track, Moto 35. We've got Cam Nato Ford, Ben Lockinen, and Tad Schaefer. That's got to be Cam Nato Ford out on point. He's going to take that 1 and overall 1. Tad Schaefer's going to take the 2, but the overall 3, followed up by Ben Lockinen with the 3, but the overall 2 out of that total point, 15X. Last rack for our Tuesday night racing, Moto 36, our 36 to 40 expert. We've got Mo, Brotzel, Pittman, McAllister. Rock 1, got to be Josh Moe out on point. He's going to take that 1 tonight, followed up by Fusion, Brotzel with the 2, McAllister for Bent Rim with that 3, and Pittman for BMX Bandits with that 4. That'll do it for us tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming on out and spending a Tuesday night with us. Please look around your area, check for any garbage. We are all volunteers here. We all have normal jobs, and we would like to go home and go to bed. So please do your part, help pick up. Remember, there is our stop number 9 state race Saturday over at Fergus Falls, or I-94 BMX. Be sure to stop on over there. Make sure you get your qualifying racing in. We've got our state finals coming up here in just about a month. Thank you guys for all coming out. Have a good night. Drive safe.